What's up, guys? The red light is on. This is Dave Van Auken, the Dave Van Auken Show, presented by the Fight Bananas. How are you doing, man? I'm pumped today. This is gonna be a fun one. Good talk. Nothing really on the docket. We'll just let it roll. Someone being a little bit, I think, younger than the regular general masses of MMA media and media members, all of that nature. It's awesome to see someone even younger than me, and I'm seeing them from afar do their thing, and I'm just loving the new wave. Right? It's 2021. Technology, times have changed, things are different, and we can do a lot of different things. And I'm just super pumped to talk about it. And this is just one of the guys I like and I watch and I listen to and I follow. So we're just going to shoot it. We're just going to have fun with it. And I'm going to bring him on right now. Part of the MMA Island family. I know he does stuff for Low Kick MMA, but I love him and his brand. I'm talking about my guy, Mystic Black. So here we go. My guy, how are you?
What's up, David? You said young so many times there, and I never felt older.
Oh my goodness,
young. I'm like, wow, this is great, man. I feel 50, but
I don't know if, like, for me, like when I go to events and when I'm talking to people, and it's not like they're much older, but I just feel there's a little decade gap, a little 8-year gap, and they've been in it, and they wear black ties, and sometimes, and it's just like a little bit different. And I feel, at least from my side of it, like I love just really being real with the fighters, and like a lot of them are friends and family friends, and we've had them over for Thanksgiving dinner and we connect. That's just how I do it. You know what I mean? And everyone's different, but it just feels like it's different. It feels like people used to not be like that a couple years ago, 5-8 years ago,
Yeah, I agree. The authenticity is what these guys love the most when you meet them. I know, people can have their suits, wear whatever they want. That's fine. But I think you being yourself and us being ourselves makes us so much more personable. And that's something definitely a new wave of the MMA guys.
For sure. All right, let's get into it, man. Like, so we're, we're pushing doors. You know what I mean? We're opening up envelopes. We're doing things. When did you want to do this? And when was the first little like, hey, like, I think I'm going to take this phone call, or I'm going to do this for the first time. I would love to kind of hear your origin story. I'm a big Marvel guy. I love hearing the origin story. What's the origin story of Mystic Black?
I'm going to give you two different things. I'll tell you about how the name came about, but then how I started as well. Well, I've always loved MMA since the age of 11, and I wanted to go to school for broadcasting. In high school, that's all I did. I did broadcasting. I was on the morning news. Anything I can do that I can speak and talk to somebody, interview them, or give news out, I loved. I went to college for it for a little bit, and then I stopped. I got a job that I was making really good money at, but then I was just like, this is not what I want to do. I need to go back to school and finish exactly what I actually love to do, and that's broadcasting. In the beginning, I'm just like, I want to do entertainment, talk about celebrities. And I'm just like, you know what? That's not that fun. I don't want to speak about people that I don't really care about their stories or them that much, compared to a sport that I actually really love. And from the age of 11, which I saw my first UFC event, which was UFC 67, I believe, Anderson Silva and Travis Lutter, I was just so in love, so in love. And from there, I never missed one event. And then I rewatched everything from before. I downloaded stuff, on LimeWire back in those days. Probably wasn't the more legal way. Dana, leave me alone. This was a long time ago. I downloaded all the videos. I watched all the fights, especially all these guys that I love, from Anderson Silva and his Pride days to the Minotauro Nogueiras to Mark Coleman, all these guys, from back in the day. And I'm just like, you know what? I want to be as knowledgeable as possible with this sport as I can, because there's just so much that you can watch, even from this day and back in the day as well. So I finished school in broadcasting. I did school also in TV production as well, so I can know the back end of it and the front end. I just wanted to know everything. Right. And then just working a couple of different jobs and trying to figure out which way I can go about this. I went to a couple of UFC events. I saw what the other media guys were doing, and I'm just like, okay, this seems pretty cool. These guys look like they're having a lot of fun doing what they are. And at one UFC event, I went to, forgetting the number, Conor McGregor was the guest speaker before the weigh-ins. Right. And I go up there to ask a question because, they had fan questions at that time. They haven't done that in a while. And I basically told Conor, hey, can I make a prediction for your fight? I think you're going to fit in 13 seconds. I did it in Bruce Buffer style. I'm like, in 18 seconds, Conor McGregor, the video's on YouTube. You can definitely view it. But I do that, and Conor was just like, get that man a job. And I ended up being 5 seconds off of the actual time he finished Aldo. I said 18 seconds. He did 13 seconds.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, I'm on Reddit, just, Reddit MMA, just scrolling because, Reddit MMA always has some interesting things. And then I see Mystic Black Man with hat almost predicts Conor McGregor's fight to a T, and it's me. So I'm just like, wow, I wouldn't even ran over this. Like, this is crazy. How am I on this? And everybody was commenting, and yeah, I got the name from there. I'm like, you know what, Mystic Black, that works.
Yeah.
And as soon as the name came upon, I promise you, it kind of was just a stream of just like, okay, now I got to get to doing this. I got to create a brand here. I got to see which direction I want to go. Let me try to see if somebody in the industry will let me talk to them.
So, okay, then how did that come to be? How was that breaking through? Was it MMA Island connected with you? Was it you connecting with them? Seems like you guys have like a great relationship. Seems like you're like part of the Justice League. You know what I mean? And I love that. I love seeing that from afar because everything we do at Fight Bananas, man, like we're a family. Like we dine together, we eat together, we break bread together, we grind together, and we can hire this person, that person, but at the end of the day, it's not us. It's not a fit, and we love the grind. We love it. But it seems like you have that with MMA Island.
Yeah, absolutely. I started myself first with my Instagram, of course,
right.
And then I just emailed a couple guys like from Burt Watson, Mike Bond, and those are the two guys that responded to me first. And they were like, you know what? Of course, let me know what time is good, and we'll do it. Mike Bond hopped on Instagram live and did an Instagram live with me, and we just sat there and just shot I don't know if I can swear on this.
You can say whatever the fuck you want, my man.
we just shot the shit and we were just talking, and that was awesome. I still talk to him to this day. Great guy. And then Burt Watson, who's like my mentor and everything here, gave me probably one of my favorite interviews. We talked for an hour about him with Joe Frazier and Nelson Mandela, Muhammad Ali. Just such an amazing conversation. And from there, I'm just like, you know what? I feel confident enough to send more emails and to talk to more people and just leave a comment maybe and say, hey, you have time to do an interview here? Boom. And I just was racking up some interviews as well. Want to give another shout out to Julian. He works with Rude Clothing Line. He used to work with a lot of these MMA guys back in the day. He used to work them out.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah, I know Julian.
Yes, great guy.
Yeah.
He helped me a lot. I have to give him a shout out there. And then I saw what MMA Island was doing, and I'm like, this seems really cool. Let me see if they would like to, work with me in some capacity, freelance. I'll do some interviews for them. I can get a couple of guys. And I sent them a DM. We talked for a little bit for a couple of weeks, and they're like, hey, I talked to the team. We'd love to have you on. And from there, man, we've always just had a really good relationship. And I talk to those guys every day. These guys are so young. Like, I thought they were maybe around my age. These guys are like 20, 21, 22, running a full MMA media company, That is like amazing. And I always give them kudos for that. That's really big on them, because not that many people can start that young and get established. And you're getting those mentions on ESPN a couple times, per year, per month sometimes, That's really good. So I started doing stuff with them, and then Low Kick MMA as well was like, hey, you want to do some stuff with us? I did some stuff with Low Kick MMA as well. So right now I'm kind of in a freelance kind of way. I'll do it for a couple different people. I'm not like with one specific company, but I'm just working my way around.
Yeah, no, I love it. That's the best way to kind of get to a spot, and then whatever it is, whatever the end game is, or whatever a nice destination is, you'll it. You know what I mean? Like when you're ready to ask the girl to marry for the rest of her life, you're just going to know that moment. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you don't want to go too early. You know what I mean? You don't want to get in there too quick. But you mentioned, so I know Chris from MMA Island, and the same thing, like we just hit it off and we DM'd, and I think he did the same thing we're doing now. We just shoot the shit on the pod.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like, dude, super young, but like, one thing that jumps off of him and people say about me, and I like, it's probably one of the best compliments you can get. It's like, you can see they really love it. You can see the passion jump through. You can really see that they're into it. And like, we all have favorite fighters, right? We all have people that we like or root for, but it's like every single person that gives me their time, every single person that gives me a minute, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, podcast, interview live, like I'm cool with that. Like, I will give you everything I got because they're giving me some of their time. So I'm going to go all in with them. And that's just how I run. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's so crazy. Sometimes, so like the other day, Jairzinho Rosenstruck was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for being late." I'm like, "You could have been an hour late. It's fine, man. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming on. Like,
Yeah.
I feel honored to speak to you. I mean, not that everybody should be late all the time, but it doesn't bother me that much. You know, it's because I'm just so happy to just be having a conversation with them. So I
Right.
agree with that 100%.
Podcast magic. I don't know if I'm going to put you in front of him or him in front of you, but I just got off with Gerald Mershar. I love
Nice.
GM3. He's one of my
Oh, such a
guys.
good guy.
And we went back and forth. And you know how it is sometimes in the fight game, too. We had a time, locked in.
Yeah.
And then he couldn't make it. He said, Dave, training went long and I missed it. It's all good. I'm like, bro. He's like, is it okay to come back on? And I told him, I wrote him back. I'm like, man, I will Rocky 4. I will do the redo. I will run up that snow mountain to get a 15-minute with you. You know what I'm saying? He's like, loved it. He's like, let's get it. Let's get it. So it's like, I feel you. It's like, at the end of the day, man, they're grinding. And that's what I kind of want to transfer the most to the mainstream and to the public. And I probably say maybe too much. Like, I just love and adore and admire and respect all these fighters. They're putting, no one realizes, and you've probably been to multiple gyms and you've seen all the back ends of what they do on a day in, week in. It's a grind, man. Like, and then the money, everyone thinks you make it to the UFC and you get this blue check and you're on the card and you make 12 and 12 and maybe you lose. And then like 3 goes to management, 2 goes to taxes. And then they grind for 5 months and they made $4,200. Like
Yeah.
that's the real talk that a lot of people don't know. You know what I'm saying? So talking about that, give me a couple things that behind the scenes, everyone, we go to an event, we're looking good, we're talking with people are like, dude, you have the best life. What are a couple things that people don't know and don't see, the grind that we put in, the hours or the drive, or something that is harder than what regular people think?
Yeah, especially media wise, when you go to events, like for instance, when I did PFL for 3 weeks, there's a lot of people that come there. Then
Yeah.
you have the time when you go to the press conference and you don't know if you're going to get the first question. The first guy might ask every question that you have on your paper or whatever you typed up, and then it's just like, oh man, I got to think about something different because I need to get this response from this person, or you want to get a good response from somebody. So then it'll go somewhere, maybe to some other streaming site. Somebody use it for an article. You can use it for your own article, which is the most important part because you want to get something off of that, and you can get a quote from yourself. You don't have to get it from somebody else.
Right.
So that's always something that's pretty difficult when going to like media events and stuff like that, and making sure you're not bothering the fighter, especially when they're like losing weight cut, like making sure you schedule before they even get down there weeks ahead of time. Hey, I'm going to be down there for this. You think you'll have time to interview at this moment? Doing everything ahead of time, because that's very important. Because if you do that the same week, the odds of you getting that time with that person is extremely low. So definitely the preparation before. Besides that, I can't think of something totally off my head while I'm there. I have to think about that a little more, but it's cool. And just making sure you're making an impact while you're there, not just something to where, oh, I'm here, boom, not doing anything with it. What do you do? What are you giving by being there?
Right.
It's no more, I'm just happy to be here. I did that in the first event I went to. I'm just happy to be here. That's cool. Get over that. Now you go to this event, you do something, make sure you're getting something out of it.
Yeah.
And then it kind of makes you feel better, after you're done. And I remember probably my biggest one of getting a result from that was Logan Paul, which is, I know it's a different combat where I know they're the Paul brothers, whatever, but it was the Floyd Mayweather Logan Paul thing.
Right.
And I got a opportunity to talk to him. Unfortunately, my cameraman didn't make it. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to use my iPhone. Just going to grab my phone.
2021, baby.
2021. I'm going to grab my phone, just hold it, as it was very hard to hold because there's other guys there. And I'm just like, man, my arm's getting so tired, but I'm just going to keep holding this thing until my arm falls off. And I put something up after we spoke, and that thing got so many hits, so many views, and all that jazz. And I got something out of going to something that some people might, Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather. It's fine. It's some form of combat sports, and it's some form of media that I'm giving the people and answers that people want to hear.
Absolutely, man. 2 fun questions, I think, for you. What's your favorite, kind of like a fan, your favorite combat sports moment, a fight, a speech, something of that nature? And then what's your favorite media side, and you just connected with someone or had a, like you said, if it's the Paul thing or the Connor thing or something else, what's your favorite kind of media side moment?
Media side moment, combat sports moment. That's tough.
And we bring in the tough questions, bro.
I know, right? Do I have to be there in person, or is this something?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely can tell you a connection that I made with somebody for sure, media wise, and that's with Jim Barcelone, who works with the Miami Herald, and he just has such a mind for every kind of combat sport, from MMA to boxing, everything. Like his knowledge and how he thinks about things is just so different, and how off the whim he is, and the knowledge that he shares as well, that he doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to give me any of that knowledge. And I met him down here at the PFL events, and we spent every literally for 3 weeks. I saw him, and he just relayed so much information on me, and on the pro wrestling side too. I don't know if we ever talked about that. I love pro wrestling. I'm still a pro wrestling fan. Watch it to this day. I love how competitive it's getting right now, especially with the AEW.
AEW, man, it's on fire right now.
It is on fire. Like goosebumps of everything that's happening with that company. That is amazing, man. Like I'm loving that. So
we're gonna have a whole other. We're gonna get you back next week. We're gonna do a 30-minute wrestling podcast. That's it. Man, you got Cole going over to NXT. It's crazy right now. I'm with you.
I'm trying to think of something to do with pro wrestling, like podcast wise, because I love it, man, and I feel like this is such a very important time in wrestling history for a while. And I've watched wrestling since I was freaking 2 years old.
Yeah.
And I've seen from the WCW dominating WWE to the John Cena era to the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan time period, all the different eras of wrestling. And now we're at this, oh man, another company's competing now. What are we going to do?
Wow. Hey, off stage, hit me up off stage. We got to talk about that. Hit me up off stage. But one more good question. Oh, go, keep going.
The moment. I have to think about it. We can go back to it. That's a hard one.
Yeah, there's so many. Like, you know what I mean? There's been so many great moments, especially I feel like in the last 2-3 years too. Like, were you down there for Jacksonville?
I was not there. But I watched everything, and that just felt cool because all the fans were back, and the crowd was on a next level in that event. Like that was amazing for sure.
I've been to the Super Bowl, NBA Finals, World Series, clinching games. Been to 10 UFC events. Being there on the crowd, on the floor. And I'm a Masvidal guy. It is what it is. I'm a Masvidal guy, and all the fights were great. But Rose Namajunas absolutely stole the show. I'm telling you, I still got goosebumps thinking about her walk, and then the knockout. It was a CM Punk pop, and it just kept on going. It was a 30-second Raw, and I was like, the knockout's been over for 20 seconds, and people are still losing their minds. Probably the biggest, loudest, craziest crowd. Even Dana walked out for the first time. Buffer walked out for the first time. Like moments, like multiple moments. Weigh-ins on Friday were incredible.
Yeah, the energy there.
Jacksonville was on fire. It was a great, and like just being there and being around everyone, like you can feel everyone was just so happy. It felt like we were back. Like the MMA community was back.
Yeah,
that was up there. That's great.
One big thing for me is always fighter entrances, and I don't know. I feel like the ones in the UK always just affect me differently because the way those crowds are. Like when Molly McCann came out to run this town. Jose Aldo did that so many times, but the way Molly came out to it gave me goosebumps, and I'm just like, because her energy that she was just spewing out. And when what's her name that used to train with Connor over there at SBG, she retired, the woman, and she came out to
I know exactly who you're talking about. I can see her face.
Yes, and she came out to Zombie, and the whole crowd is just singing as she's coming out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man! And that's not even a crazy like pump up song. It's just. Those are the moments that get me so much.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. One question, like I said, now I got a little 5 fun questions. I will go at the end. We'll call it going bananas here, but fun. This is the big last one for you. If I would say 2026, 5 years from now, Mystic Black is doing.
Mystic Black is running his own media company and having other people on his channel and just doing my own independent thing. And I'm not having to work for, a specific big brand or something like that. I mean, if I do, that's fine. But I would like to have my own channel, my own brand, have other people on it as well. And yeah, that would be super awesome. And maybe living in Las Vegas, possibly, that'd be cool. Being around everything, the pinnacle of the fighting world right now.
Right.
Well, not kind of, because since there's no crowds there as usual as they used to be.
I'm so with that, man. I love that. You know, and everything we've done and built with Fight Bananas over the last couple of years, and like sometimes we've had opportunities to maybe meld and maybe join something else. But at the end of the day, like I'm a huge fan of Pat McAfee, and it's like I love what he's doing. He's like, you know, what Ariel kind of in a way just kind of did. He's like, it's so different now in 2021, man. Like with so many streaming services and devices, and we have so much freedom. We can fucking cuss, or we can talk about if it's sex or drugs or rock and roll, whatever we want. There's not an ESPN cloud over us saying, "Hey, make sure you talk about Chris Weidman and say he's a good person." You know, like no, we can talk about the fighters we want to talk about it. There's just something about it, man. I love the creative control. Like there's just nothing like it, and I think the good people understand it, and the good people notice that and realize that. So
creative control is such that word right there is just so important. Like I don't want to have anybody telling me what to ask, or I need this, I need that. No, I want to go about it the way that I want to, and I feel like I know what the people want to hear, the questions, the answers they want to hear from these guys.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. Fun little segment. 5 questions. The first thing that comes to your head. You ready?
All right, I'm ready.
What's your favorite item in your closet?
My denim shirts.
Denim shirt. Do you have a hidden talent or a skill?
I could play the ukulele a little.
Hey. In their prime, Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr.
Who wins?
Yeah.
Mike Tyson.
Incorrect answer. We'll talk about that. I'm a Roy Jones guy to the end, man. I love that man. What's your favorite sports team?
Favorite sports team is whatever sports team LeBron James is on.
Oh, there we go. The GOAT. I love this, man. We're going to get it. If you're a promoter, you got all the money in the world. I want you to pick the venue, the fighters. What is it for? What organization? You can pick any fight in the world.
Say that one more time.
You can promote any fight in the world, any venue, any organization for any title.
And what fight would it be? Like who would fight?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Give me John Jones versus Francis Ngannou. Got to see it in Africa.
Wow.
In Africa. I think that'd be awesome.
You heard that, Dana?
Book it.
It's not that hard, right?
Book it. Give Francis that respect, Dana. Come on, man.
And then you can do a little Gane versus Stipe, the month before.
You can, why not? That's a fight that should have happened already. I wasn't crazy. I love Derek Lewis to death, man. But like, I feel like Stipe is being forgotten about. He's to me the best heavyweight of all time for in the UFC.
100% agree, but you know this and I know this. There's a lot of shit behind the scenes. They were in Houston. It was a pay-per-view. It was a little bit of short notice. They wanted to sell out the crowd. It was a Derek Lewis pay-per-view. It's the fight game, man. It's a fight game.
Business. It is all business, and I get it at the end of the day. But I don't know. I feel like they've given us so much, a lot of fights that we've always wanted, and not too late. Because, with the boxing world, we get these fights, but we get them 5 years later. Right. MMA, we don't struggle with that too much unless we have guys in a different promotion, like an AJ McKee, who I feel should be in the UFC right now, because there's just not that high level at featherweights or lightweights in Bellator for him that he hasn't beaten already. So I don't need him to see him part 2s of all these fights. I feel like it's going to be the same result. He needs a whole new wave of guys. I would drop that title and head over to the UFC. He'll get that money. He'll get paid. Yeah,
it will. It's like you said, maybe Michael Chandler did it a tad too late, maybe 2-3 years too late, but it's wild. It's actually, that's even such a topical thing to talk about. Like, is it cool to be kind of a bigger fish in a smaller pond? The brand, like Bellator can be it's the McKee show. Like he could be the face for years. And when you get in the UFC, it's, like you said, is it Max Holloway? You got Volkanovski and Ortega. Sometimes you can give you a loss. Justin Gaethje hasn't fought in 15 months. Sometimes it's tough. It's just, there's so much great talent right now in the UFC in 2021. There's just top notch all across the board. It's tough. It's really, you kind of get lost sometimes. Even the studs, the stars, Stipe hasn't fought in a year. Like you said, it's tough.
It's crazy to see. And with guys like AJ McKee, I feel like more in a competitive standpoint, that's why he should be in the UFC. Not for, I know he wants to get paid, but he's a guy that gets bored. And it gets me scared that he's going to go off some track and do something different, because he's literally talking about boxing already. And I feel like he's talking about boxing because he's getting bored with MMA. He hasn't fought one bout that it was like, oh, this is super competitive. No, he's washing these guys. Yeah. So I feel like it's more of a competitive standpoint. But there are people who can go to like Cyborg, goes to Bellator, and she's making more money than she was in the UFC, and she is that girl there over there. But at the same time, you know, we got to see her against the elite finally in the UFC, and when she fought Amanda Nunes, and you know how that went down.
I say probably one of the best threads in my show is that everyone says Amanda is one of the great, you know, the GOAT female of all time. We got to erase the female word. She might be one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time. That you just, you know, we're 2021. Like I said, man, you got to let the female stuff go. She's amazing. Huge fan of hers. I wanted to let you go, but there was one last thing, and I see the both names on there. And if you got it, tell me what's the difference between Mystic Black and Darnell? Like, is there a difference there? You guys melding together? Is it kind of like, I'll put the wrestle in term is a little bit of a gimmick and you want to, you know, you turn yourself up a little bit? What's the difference between Mystic Black and Darnell?
Careful, I'll cut a promo right now, man.
Hey!
Yeah, with Mystic Black, I definitely talk more. I'm you know, I want to, not that I don't like talking, but like Darnell is more of a chill, laid back guy, a guy you'll probably see sitting at a bar, just chilling, not talking too crazy, but just, you know, and let's say just enjoying a fight, having a meal, not trying to get in anybody else's business. Mystic Black, you'll see me, you know, ready to talk about these fights, and just like I overhear somebody saying something, I want to talk about it, and I get hyped up, I get crazy, I don't shut up. So that's I don't know. That's the difference between Mystic Black and Darnell, if anything, but not a huge difference. But it's definitely a whole person that loves combat sports and loves the stories of these fighters, because people view this sport as such a brutal, you know, nasty sport, and there's just more to these people, I mean, than everybody else thinks.
Absolutely, man. Hey, it was a pleasure, brother. Absolute pleasure. Like I said, yeah, we'll talk off air, man. I think we can do some stuff. Like I said, I feel it's like a new wave. I really do. I feel there's new energy, new people coming through. And, you know, I love kind of turning it upside down a little bit. So, man, appreciate you. Anything you want to drop, you know, I've been putting up your IG handle up during the show. But anything else, you know, MMA Island, Low Kick MMA, anything else you want to drop, the floor is yours, my man.
Thank you so much for having me on, David. I appreciate it. Of course, we are going to talk again. I'm going to have you on over there. You know, we're going to switch this and we're going to do it the other way for sure. Okay. I love the stuff you did with Taylor Starling last week. That was amazing. I think she's a superstar. And for you recognizing that, that's awesome, man. Like there's that sport people forget about too. Bare knuckles is great. But yes, Mystic Black MMA, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. I'm on Low Kick MMA. I'm on MMA Island. I'm everywhere that I can be, but somewhere. But I'm here. I appreciate everybody that is watching, that's going to watch this. And David, once again, thank you so much, brother.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you immensely. Yeah, let's talk soon. Let's keep this often. All right. Be good.
Absolutely,
all right.
boss.